cover of my new one. Just like last time, I'm going to try and draw on the front and the back cover, the inside, and the back pocket. All right, sounds good. Let's do it. Into making the cover look good because I don't put a lot of effort into my spreads. It's kind of just a bunch of to-do lists in different colors. It works for me, but to like satisfy my creative on the inside. My drawing on my last bullet journal is like one of my all-time favorite drawings that I created last year. So in order to try and live up to that and maybe create a drawing that was coming up with an idea that I really liked before I started throwing it on top of the journal, I decided I wanted to further the idea from last year, so kind of like build upon it and draw maybe the same character but like in a different pose. I also redesigned her outfit and settled on a pose that I thought was kind of interesting and also referenced her studious side, if you remember. So I put her on top of a ton of books. And I thought, yeah, she looks pretty clever. Smart people use literature as furniture, right? I wouldn't know. But now with a pretty firm grasp of what I want the final illustration to look like, I start drawing directly on the cover of the bullet journal. But this first one was just a little too small, so I tried again. My next attempt was just a little too not right. Yeah, so tried again. This time things were going pretty well right off the bat, except the head was just massive. Okay, it was massive. But I was really, really happy with the body, so I decided to make the executive decision to just erase the head and leave the body and try to draw the head again, which I think was a pretty good plan. I think one of my biggest problems when I was drawing the face specifically is that I was trying to draw the character looking down at the book that she's holding, but I couldn't quite get the proportions to look right. Like, I don't know, something was a little off, definitely need to practice. And as many times as I erased this, it does continue to be a problem until the end. I don't want to spoil anything though. Let's just say sometimes the 8th time is the charm. Anyway, after your first quick sketch is done and everything's laid out on the page pretty well, then you have to go in and start adding in detail because you can't add line art directly to a very quick sketch because there's just not enough information there, and when you try to add in the line art, it's gonna look a little messy because you won't really know where you're putting lines. So I went in and tried to add detail to the books. I don't draw a lot of books, so this was definitely a new experience, but I had a lot of fun with it and I think I got it pretty good. I probably say this in every single video, but sketching is my favorite part, so I like to take my time with it, add a little tone here and there, little extra sketchy bits here and there. Even though I changed a little bit of her design, I think there's enough references to her old drawing and the way she looked in that it looks like the same character, but I also made sure I included her studious glasses and the little pencil behind her ear, and I was pretty happy with it. I think it looked like her. She doesn't have a name, she's just bullet journal girl, but still want to show her enough dignity so that she looks like the same person. So this is what she looked like after I had finished sketching with my pencil. Don't you just love the way pencil looks on toned paper? Something about it, like looks ancient and it looks like someone like actually important drew it. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know, it's just that discoloration. Anyway, yeah, I'm very happy with this. It looks beautiful. But now that it's done, it means it's time to destroy it. So I'm going to take my kneaded eraser and I'm just going to rub it back and forth on the sketch. This lightens it up and allows me to add mediums on top of it without it smudging around the graphite. You could probably use Copic markers directly on top of it without ruining your markers, but you would see the sketch and would never be able to erase it. So I opted to just use fine liners and start adding line art to our illustration. As always, starting with the face and the mouth and everything. If you're someone who likes to add line art to your illustrations, you know how terrifying and crucial it is to your drawing process. Like, on one hand, you can easily destroy it just with a flick of the wrist. You're like a wizard. But on the other hand, if you don't do it at all, your art's missing that very special little something. I love the way line art looks. I just have yet to find a deep passion for it. I think I say this every time, but I just trace over my art. Maybe that's what I don't like about it. There's not a whole lot of creativity. Like, you can add tone and width here and there where you think it'll look good, but other than that, it's really just trying not to mess up what you already drew. Like, there's a high chance of error and a low chance of fun. Yeah, that's about right. I know some people line art is like their favorite part, and man, I envy you, because nah. That ain't for me. Line art is just like a necessary step to my end result. For my character's shoes, I didn't think they were quite refined enough for me to be able to add line art with a clear conscience. Like I knew I was gonna mess it up. So I erased what I had there, grabbed my pencil again, and started drawing over top of it and made sure it was exactly the way I wanted it to look before I went in and added line art. And I'm very happy that it did because I think the feet actually don't look too bad. They're not supposed to be actually ballet shoes. They're shoes with like a ballet tie wrap element. The last step of the line art before I could move on to the color was adding in her glasses. Now she's wearing very round circular glasses and I was kind of terrified to do the line art because it's obviously not erasable, right? So I went in, drew it again. I was like, yes, I'm happy with these circles. Okay, let's add in the line. Oh, it's not that bad. And then I did in the next one and I did it. They're not that bad. And now she's got her studious glasses. I'm never gonna not say that word that way. So don't ask. So now that the line art is done, I just make sure I erase the final sketch. And then for colors, I did want to change up the colors a little bit from my last cover because it just felt kind of muddy. Every time I looked at it, it just looked a little gross. But I did want to make sure it looked like the same character. So I used the exact same skin tone. I used E13, which is light suntan for the skin. It worked very well, just colored in her skin with that and colored in other elements that I wanted to just copy the color from last time, like her backpack. Now, it kind of occurs to me that sometimes backpacks don't last more than a year, especially if you're going to school. But I figured she's maintained it well enough. And again, I wanted it to look like the same character, so I thought, hey, giving her the same backpack would probably be helpful. I also used my Rose Mist Copic marker to color in little blushy bits, like the ends of her fingers. I like to add a little reddish tone and around her eyes and her nose and her mouth, and like maybe the kneecaps or something like that. I think it just adds a little bit of color to the skin, and I really like it. I do it every time. Not always with this color, but you know, with something a little redder than the skin tone. I also used that same Copic marker to color in her blouse. As soon as I did it, I knew, oh, that's a little too dark for what I was looking for, but I fix it later. I also went in and colored in her hair the same way I did last year. I think I used like an olive green for the dark shadows and then used light and dark suntan Copic markers for the brown bits. Then I threw some paint markers at the illustration, literally. I used the pink Posca pen to add stripes to her blouse, and I think it just made the biggest whirlwind of a difference. I was a little on the fence about the blouse before, but now that it's like stripy and pink, I just love it. It's got like the most subtle Tim Burton vibes. I also used that pink Posca pen to color in her shoes. I really wanted to bring more of that color into this. I just love the way it pops next to that toned paper. Oh, it's just so bright. Next, I used my Sunflower Ohu brush marker and I colored in a few of the books, like the one on her lap and the one she is sitting on. I think this is a really nice color to use on this toned paper because it's just like, it darkens it up without it being too saturated. So it adds elements that kind of like blend in, but are also visible. And then I just had to color in some of the other books, so I used some of the colors that I had already used in the rest of the illustration, like Rose Mist. And I also tried using Rose Mist as a little bit of like a shadow on the books, which I thought was kind of interesting and added a bit of a 3D element. I tried to use a Sakura Decorous white gel pen to add contrast between some of the pages in the books, but it wasn't quite popping as much as I wanted, so I moved over to a white Posca pen, and this gave me the exact look I was looking for. So I basically just drew a line for each page, and I did this for each of the books, and I love the way it stands out against the toned backdrop, and I feel like it just gives the illusion that there's a bunch of pages there, and it's just, I don't know, I think it just looks so much better than it did before. I also use this Posca pen to add a little bit of a shimmer and a shine to the glasses, so it looks like that, yes, there are indeed lenses in there. Next, I grabbed some pink acrylic paint and I threw that at the illustration. So I took my little paintbrush and I just started filling in a circle behind her. I wasn't entirely sure how many coats it would take, so I tried to be thin with it and made sure there wasn't like too much texture because I didn't want it to distract from like the character at all. I didn't use any acrylic paint last time and I thought it would work really, really well for adding brightness to my cover, because right now, if you only use alcohol-based markers on a dark toned paper, it's going to add a dark tone to your Copic markers, and I wanted the background to pop a little bit more. So I thought by using some acrylic paint, I could add just a brightness that I couldn't with the markers. And then this is what it looked like. I thought it added a little bit too much brightness to the top because she already had that pink stripes on her top and then I added the pink circle behind it. So I decided to add a little bit more brightness to the bottom. I used a white Posca pen and added some details to the skirt. My plan was to leave the skirt the same color as the paper because I feel like what's the point in drawing on toned paper if you're not gonna like incorporate it into the illustration, right? So I was like trying my darndest not to just color in the whole skirt white. Then I tried experimenting things with the background. I really wish I had tested this out first because I just don't like it. Some reason I pictured it was gonna look like neurons or something. I don't know, something sciencey. I'm not sciencey. I think that's obvious. So I'm just really not happy with the way this little circle-y thing turned out. I tried some other things, didn't like that either, liked that worse. I don't know, you throw in things, seeing what sticks. Turns out when you're using art supplies, almost all of it sticks, and it's not always gonna look better. So then my plan was to try and cover over as much as I could, but like only so much was cover upable because I didn't want to like make the circle bigger because then it would touch the top of the book and that would just look silly, right? Eventually I just decided I needed to move on and maybe I could fix it later. So I started moving on to the rest of the background. Using a pink Posca pen, I kind of sketched out how I wanted the background to be. Because last time I used stripes, and I love stripes. And let me tell you, it took all of my willpower not to draw stripes and instead draw circles, which are kind of in a way stripes. Just not my favorite kind of stripes. But I wanted to change it up. And so what I did was just draw ripples of the circle. So if like the circle behind her is where you drop the rock in the water, then there'd be ripples extending from it, right? Just radiating outwards. So I drew stripes radiating out. The one really big one being in the acrylic paint that I used to color in the circle behind her. And then I also used Copic markers. And then that's the same color that I used to draw the stripes in my bullet journal last year. So it was kind of like referencing it, but being different and new. It's like a Marvel movie. So then I just drew a bunch of stripes. I tried to make them vary. I didn't want them to look too robotic. I just wanted them to be a little bit more organic. So I varied the widths, varied the distance between them, and also drew a couple green ones on top of the pink stripe that was already there. Circles aren't the easiest thing to draw. Like, circles are easy to draw. Circles that look like perfect circles are hard to draw. I kind of just tried to do my best. And then a flippin' fly landed right on my marker cap. Frickin' Frederick over here, right? What are you doing in my house? I also added another green stripe on top of my pink stripe. This time doing my best to measure it so that it would look good. As Frederick can attest.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Thank you. I signed it. I decided to sign it in a curve, kind of like following along the stripes, which I thought was kind of cute. I added a big white border behind the character. This is something I did last year too. I don't know, I just love it. I just love the way it takes the character and like separates them from that backdrop. It just looks so cool, especially since it's not white paper. So adding that white line really, really pops. And I used a light purple Copic marker and added a little bit of shading. This again adds a little bit of a 3D effect to the character and gives them a little bit more body. And at this point, Frederick had overstayed his welcome. So I said goodbye and he said hello again. Seriously? Go, yeah, bye, Frederick. Sans Frederick, I used R7 in my hehe brush markers, and I used this to add a little extra color to her lips and around her eyes, because I think last year I mentioned that I wanted her to be a little bit more into like beauty and fashion, so I figured she would like a nice bold lip. So I did that again. And then I kept playing around with her glasses. I just wasn't happy with them. Something about them just didn't look right to me. So naturally, I ruined them completely in an attempt to fix it. Irritated, just a little bit, but not done yet. I moved on to the inside cover and started drawing on that. Then I used this little container that I've repurposed to hold my pencil sharpeners. And I used different things to create circle shapes to kind of further the theme of the front cover with the circles radiating from the center circle. And then I just colored those in so that they match the same colors that I used on the cover with that acrylic pink paint and then that GY95 Copic marker, and then it looked like this. Then I added a little "this belongs to" section. I completely messed this up. Some things just aren't erasable. Some things you just can't fix. At this point, I thought Frederick had just given me bad luck and ditched me. So I moved on to the back pocket, following that same theme, kind of with a little bit more experience now, knowing what I like, knowing what I don't like, adding in that acrylic paint, and then again going over with that green Copic marker, creating those stripes to kind of move forward from the circles and to redraw one of my favorite parts of the front cover, which were those stacked books. I added some stacked books inside the pocket. I don't know, I thought it was cute. It's like they're coming out of the pocket. It's like she's keeping them in this pocket. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of cute. I thought it was a cute idea. So I drew a bunch of books back there, added line art, then I colored them in. I used a bunch of different colors just like I did on the front cover so that they all don't look like the same book. And then this is what that looked like. I don't know, I think this is cute. It's kind of one of my favorite little elements on the back there. The little books sticking out of the pocket. It's a little bummer that when you like stick something in the pocket, you can't see the books, which are my favorite part. But I don't know, I know they're there, so like, it still means something. So it's time for the grand reveal. Does something look a little funny? Let me just remove that. Here's what the face looks like now. It's just not my favorite, so I created a little sticky note that I can stick right on there. Isn't it cute? Here's what last year's bullet journal looked like. So you can kind of see how next to each other, they have a very similar color scheme, but I made the newer one a little bit brighter, so I used like more pinks that were opaque. And I like that it looks a little bit less muddy. So I'm just gonna quickly color that in and then maybe add some line art. Just use all the same colors and see if they look like they're the same colors. Because obviously I'm drawing this on a different colored sheet of paper.